Aidan completely wrecked last week. He closed the game by himself.
Yes.
Sack, fumble, and recovered the ball and said, game over, see you later.
Yes.
Like, Aidan Hutchinson, man, and I expect another big game. He shows up when the lights are brightest, and that's a lot of these players too. Amon-Ra St. Brown does as well. Kirby does. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is, he's his father. So on prime time, Kirby's there, and he's ready to show out. He might not play tonight, but Aidan Hutchinson, NFC Defensive Player of the Week, Sam Flannel, your reaction and how much you need out of Aidan tonight, because I expect another big game out of him.
You know what? I am ecstatic with this news because we all know how high I am on Aidan Hutchinson. I called for 15 sacks this season.
You did.
Through the first 2 games, it wasn't looking so good. Aidan obviously played very, very well against Kansas City. Not as great against Seattle, but he didn't have any sacks. And through 3 quarters of the game against Atlanta, he didn't have any either. But in the 4th quarter, when it mattered most, like you said, Aidan Hutchinson basically closed the game down. He got a sack, and then he got a sack fumble, which he recovered. Absolutely
ridiculous.
Unbelievable. And think about this in the NFC. This is very, very impressive to me because think of how many great defensive players there are that could be winning Defensive Players of the Week. You got Nick Bosa, you got Micah Parsons, you've got Hassan Reddick, you've got guys like Brian Burns even, or Rashawn Gary, or Daniil Hunter, who's having a hell of a year, Fred Warner, guys like that, some of the best defensive players in the league, guys who have won Defensive Players of the Year like Nick Bosa, but in this week it was Aidan Hutchinson who really stood out. And I kind of think when we talk about MVPs of the game, a lot of people point to Brian Branch as the obvious one. And Brian Branch might have been my first choice as well, but Aidan Hutchinson did just as much in this game to impact winning because not only did he have those 2 sacks, that forced fumble, that fumble recovery, he was one of the guys creating a lot of the pressures that allowed guys on the inside and guys like even Derek Barnes or Jack Campbell to get sacks. He also had 6 pressures in that game. So 100% Aidan Hutchinson earned this honor, and you know what else? Now he's winning NFC Defensive Players of the Week. Pretty soon, I'm not saying this year, but maybe in years to come, he could be winning NFL Defensive Player of the Years. Maybe 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I'm calling for 1. I know that's a little bit preemptive, but still, winning an NFC Defensive Player of the Week is not something you can just scoff at. As far as tonight, I expect another huge game out of him. I expect at least a sack. I expect him to create constant pressures on Jordan Love because David Bakhtiari's out. David Bakhtiari is not what he once was. He's been plagued by injuries.
Very much true.
No, it is very much true, but I'm sure the Packers would love to have him out there because he might be matched up with Aidan Hutchinson from time to time, but it's not going to be a problem. And this is a guy that just a few years ago was first-team All-Pro. And then you mentioned Elton Jenkins, who I'm not sure will be matched up directly. He wouldn't have been matched up directly with Aidan.
But they're 2 of their best
He was a
offensive
Pro Bowl.
linemen.
He was a Pro
Talk
Bowl
about when they
last
put
year.
Hutch on the inside.
Yeah.
Because they do that. That's when he'd be up on Elton Jenkins. And the fact that he's out, he's their best run blocker for them. So he's going to be able to make more plays in the run game as well, especially when it comes to setting the edge and turning everything inside.